curfew hours across Metro Manila have been shortened to between 12 midnight and 4 a.m. President Duterte is also set to announce new quarantine classifications for the rest of the month. President Duterte has asked Cebu to follow the IATF's testing and quarantine protocols for arriving passengers. One political analyst believes that it's not exactly a strong start for Isambayan as some nominees begged off from bannering the opposition. In defense of its shortlist, Isambayan said they're not expecting a firm decision from the nominees anytime soon. The Education Department is once again in hot water over the recurring errors in self-learning modules. And in lighter news, a man dressed up as Spiderman gets vaccinated in Marikina City. Focused and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Some residents want the City of Manila to implement a scheduling system for its vaccination program. Long lines have greeted Manila's inoculation sites over the past few days, with some vaccinees even camping out just to make the cut. Let's discuss that and other issues with Dr. Ronjean Solante, infectious diseases head of the San Lazaro Hospital, as well as a member of the vaccine expert panel. Good evening, Dr. Solante. Do you think it is high time for Manila to do away with this first-come, first-served system?
One thing good here is that everyone is really interested now with vaccination. But we really have to make the process that also will accommodate a lot of them, but not with the compromise or uncompromising situation. We are in danger of the transmission of the infection if we are crowded in that particular area. And that's why I don't totally agree with the first come, first serve basis. It has to have a schedule so that everyone will be in a smooth and systematic way of getting the vaccine.
All right, so in your opinion, Doc, do you think that the people actually lining up is enough assurance that no vaccines will go to waste, at least in the city of Manila?
When you have this master listing and then you schedule a group of number of people who will be getting the vaccine, there is always a buffer number of people that will also be possible substitute if there will be dropouts coming from those who initially listed.
Well, I think the argument with some LGUs, I think this is also happening in the city of the Caloocan, is that people, or the uptake for online registration is quite slow, and that's why in a bid to, not waste the vaccines they already have on hand, this is why they're doing this. Would there be another way to get people vaccinated, especially those that don't have access to the internet, to be able to sign up for the online registration systems?
Sean, the other option here is if this will be a first come, first serve, then they have to make the facility a bigger facility so that it can really accommodate as much as everybody that is expected in that particular schedule. No? So it should be as big as they can imagine it. No? Because if you are only doing it in a very small and conventional room, and you are allotting like 100 per day or 1,000 per day, and then 1,005 will be coming in unscheduled, that's too much, and that will really be, there's really be danger there of the transmission or not obeying the health protocol. So if the other solution there is put more vaccination centers so that these centers will also be, that area will also be saturated with more vaccination centers.
All right, moving on now to quarantine classifications. Dr. Solante, do you agree with other experts who think that we should actually rethink the easing of protocols so as not to invite another surge in the NCR? Are we really ready to open up our economy further? What do you think?
We might, I agree, if we want to increase the number of people that will be in establishments, like for example, if there will now be relaxation like from 20% to 50%, but no other form of easing the protocols in terms of the face mask, the face shield, the physical distance, including environmental control and ventilation in establishments. That's very important. No? You can put more people, but you still have to implement the health protocol.
All right, the health protocols are definitely going to be here to stay. Dr. Salante, now, the NCR mayors have also unilaterally agreed to adjust curfew hours a bit shorter. Now it's from 12 midnight to between 4 a.m. I'm guessing, based on what you just said, that this is also okay as long as we practice and maintain safety protocols?
Yes, I agree with that. No, but as long as people should always observe, and especially the unnecessary gatherings and parties and other unnecessary gatherings of people should still be implemented.
All right, and lastly, Doc, some doctors have been saying that COVID wards are slowly filling up with patients yet again. I just wanted to ask, what's the situation like in San Lazaro Hospital? Is it getting overwhelmed again, or are things under control at the moment?
We are under control. Our admissions is manageable, and we have not been seeing even a slight increase in cases. So the cases have plateaued to like 40 or less than 40 to something like 30. So we are good with this current situation, and I hope we don't have another surge.
All right, hoping right alongside you. Thank you so much, as usual, for your time and your insights. Stay safe. Dr. Ronjean Solante, infectious diseases head of the San Lazaro Hospital and a member of the vaccine expert panel. In other news, lawmakers have grilled the Education Department over the recurring errors in its self-learning modules. The DepEd now vows to improve its checking process or vetting process with the help of third-party evaluators. Marian Enriquez with the report.
The House Committee on Public Accounts grilled the Education Department over its erroneous learning materials. At a hearing today, a former educator and textbook crusader showed a module used among grade 10 Filipino students in Mabalacat, Pampanga. It defines the word aswang, or an evil creature in Filipino folklore, using a vulgar language that means having sex.
Ba matatapos itong pag-uusap natin ng error? No, paikot-ikot tayo eh, ano? Ang problema sa DepEd, they don't admit the errors, di ba? Imagine kung ano-ano sinasabi, editorial preference, matters of usage. An error is an error. Imagine, yung bata pinababasa natin ng ganyang kasamang salita.
DepEd Undersecretary said the module was locally produced by the Region 3 Division Office. It was already recalled in February, and the superintendent has also issued an erratum.
Sino ang nagre-review bago po ito ilabas? Kasi napaka-glaring po nung error, hindi lang siya error na nagkamali ng spelling o may issue sa editorial preference.
Hindi ko maisip kung anong excuse ang pwedeng ibigay po dito. Kagad-agad po itong nirecon ng division at meron na po kami ginagawa internally para po panagutin yung dapat pong managot.
But this was not the first time that the DepEd was called out for their erroneous modules. In fact, DepEd's Error Watch has received a total of 163 reports since the start of the blended learning. Some 155 errors were validated. Majority of this, or 104 errors, were locally produced by DepEd's regional or division offices.
Hindi naman po talaga yan kayang ma-quality assure ng central office lahat. Pati po itong mga ganitong learning activity sheets na ito.
The DepEd was supposed to procure learning materials from the private sector, but the plan did not materialize. For now, the agency has partnered with third-party evaluators.
Mayroon na po tayong mga third-party evaluators ng learning resources na tumitingin din po ulit, isang tingin pa para masiguro na yung mga tiningnan na ng aming mga teams.
Some parents, however, can't help but raise concerns over the continuous errors.
Pangit yun, hindi maganda. Nakakasira din yun sa mga bata. Hindi tama pong nilalagay nila sa module ng mga bata. Dapat ayusin nila.
Sino ba gumagawa ng modules na to? Parang wala na akong tiwala.
The House panel has decided to schedule another hearing regarding the matter. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
And political science experts have weighed in on the nominees of opposition coalition Isang Bayan for the presidential and vice presidential posts. Manros Baños has the report.
This government is really incompetent. Opposition movement Isang Bayan has unveiled its nominees for the presidential and vice presidential posts in next year's elections. But it's not exactly a strong start, at least according to two political experts. In an interview with One News's Agenda, UP Political Science Professor Clarita Carlos expressed disappointment with the list.
Yeah, I would consider the names that they have put forward as stale, like panis. And I'm sorry to use that cruel word. I'm grappling with the word to use, but it's like pagkatingin ko ng pangalan, parang gusto kong humikab. Oh my God, yan lang ba? Tinintay-hintay natin. I'm sure I'm not alone in that kind of reaction, diba?
For his part, Attorney Michael Yusinko of the Ateneo Policy Center pointed to Isang Bayan's lack of alliances with other parties, hence the outright rejection of others who were originally listed.
They will only deal with political parties, organized political parties, or organized and formal political coalitions. Because these are the groups, these are the entities that can launch and pull off a viable political campaign. Right now, Isang Bayan, as it is in its current form and its current offering, doesn't look like they can do that. No? Doesn't look like they can deliver that.
Both Carlos and Yusinko believe that the way to go is for Isang Bayan to do away with its, quote, elitist image.
Whenever people style themselves as holier than the rest of us, then samasalasa in the first instance. I'll tell them, get off your high horse, please, and talk to the people.
In a radio interview over the weekend, Vice President Leni Robredo said the opposition should first understand why the masses are still drawn to President Duterte and other politicians like him. She also told the opposition to refrain from thinking that they are the only smart and competent ones in the country. The opposition coalition has since defended its shortlist, saying they're not expecting firm decisions yet from any of the nominees. Reporting for News 5, Mean Los Baños, we are One News.
All right, time for some lighter news. A man dressed up as Spiderman got vaccinated over in Marikina City. One netizen posted photos of Spidey receiving his first vaccine dose inside a covered court. Netizens praised Spidey for living up to the phrase, "With great power comes great responsibility." For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.